morning. Welcome to The Old School, a podcast about the contemporary education system, live from our various sanctum sanctorum deep within the nurturing bosom of North Texas. Good morning, Herr Dr. Bourgeois.
Morning, Herr Miller. I didn't think our listeners needed to know that I lived in North Texas.
They already know we live in North Texas.
No.
Said it like 50 times.
Citizen of the world. You know that?
He still wears, we got the Packers shirt on now. Now we're getting serious.
I'm running out of...
You said football was dead. Where's your baseball shirts?
I want a baseball shirt, and you know that.
Well, you need to. I can buy you one.
Well, thank you. I'd appreciate it.
What's that documentary about that team from Portland? It was a kind of a minor league team.
I don't know. You're talking about a baseball team or a football team?
Yeah, baseball team. It was kind of a minor league baseball team that was based out of Oregon, or no?
No, I don't know.
All right, fine. Just trying to bring it back around to baseball.
just trying to make conversation.
Don't mind me over here. Jeez almighty. Well, last week we discussed foreign language. We will. You'll.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
Dear listeners, you will hear the next podcast will be about foreign language. Well, you do. It's been released, foreign languages. I don't know what we talked about last week.
I was trying to remember, then you jarred my memory, but that was from 2 weeks ago.
But anyway, now the question is, we are very much nigh upon the time of graduating seniors. Now, you've taught seniors. I have on occasion, although primarily I teach juniors, although it doesn't prevent me from giving unsolicited advice, as it were, to seniors. The idea about what they should know. What kind of information should they be armed with before leaving the hallowed halls of whatever two-bit high school they attend? What would you give as advice?
Well, it's just April, first of all. So I would not,
it's never too early to have good instruction. So,
well, yeah, I don't want to encourage them to phone it in as if they would listen to us. But there's a lot of, 2 months, that's a lot of instructional days. All kinds of possible transformative days of instruction between now and the end of the school year, wouldn't you say?
Sure, but I think we can go ahead and have a conversation as if the time was nearly here. I think we can go ahead and juxtapose our ideas 2 months in the future.
Okay.
In order to instruct these minnows who are leaving the environs of high school and about to enter into the cold, cruel world that is often referred to as reality or the real world. Surely there is something that you can give as a form of advice, or maybe you have in the past.
No, I'm first of all, don't drink and drive, and don't do anything on graduation night.
Don't do drugs.
Just stay home.
That's amateur night. Come on, kids.
Yeah.
You're better than this.
But no, that, other than that, I don't know. I have nothing much to tell them. I'm kind of a pessimist. The weird thing is that all these kids they know, friends or whatever, are going to sort of fade to the rearview mirror very, very quickly. And so they're in a process now of packing their bags mentally, and it's happening as we speak around the country right now.
As we speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you look a year out of high school, 2 years, that list gets shorter and shorter. You have what are called friends, in quotes on social media, but the friends that you actually see in real life are gonna, you're kind of driving past if you're a senior right now.
Sure. Well, so we talked about this before we went live, that this was going to be our topic.
Yeah, I tried to talk you out of it.
You tried to talk me out of it because you thought to yourself, after 25 plus years of education, you have absolutely nothing to say on this topic. You've never talked to a senior. You've never dispensed advice, provided a cautionary word or tale here or there. And so I thought you would pretend, though. I thought you would go for the sake of the podcast. You know what I need to do? I need to come up with something. But true to your word, you did say you were surly.
Well, I'm surly, but I've never been asked. Isn't that funny? I've never done a graduation speech.
We're not talking about speeches.
Well, no. I mean, a commencement address. You think that Dr. Bourgeois would be on the short list, at many of these institutions of secondary education, but no, I haven't got a call.
I would pay
Yeah.
to be allowed to do a commencement speech.
You would actually pay.
I would pay.
They wouldn't pay you. You would pay them. So you could,
listen, this is really about my ideas here. Let me go ahead and just give you some money. Please let me do this.
You just want to terrify on the supposedly the best night of their lives.
No.
And it can be a big deal. I mean, this could be a first generation high school graduate or something. And you're going to bring the evening down with your surly cynicism.
Cynicism.
Yeah.
I am oftentimes brimming with optimism. What do you mean cynicism?
Okay, well, I don't want to hear your speech because it's going to be awkward, and you're going to try to start out with an amusing anecdote and try to connect it to baseball, some extended, stretched out metaphor that's dead on.
Remember what Mickey Mantle once said. But as you know, I do have a bit of advice that I give.
Oh my
God. It's unsolicited.
Did you write this down? You didn't
No, I don't have to write it down.
You did one episode. You actually
had the same two things that I always talk about before I say see you later to the juniors. Well, there's like three things.
Okay,
maybe four, depending on the Spanish Inquisition, but two, maybe
enough
three
of the preambles here, Miller.
All right. So the first thing is, when you're a senior, don't check out so soon. I mean, I don't know how you can avoid that. Lord knows I didn't avoid it. You were probably doing piano while studying German at the same time, like on May 31st, whatever, you were a senior. Well, I try to tell the kids, don't check out. Well, I try to tell the kids, don't take periods off, because that's what they have here in the not to be mentioned by name North Texas region where we live, that they have some, the kids can basically schedule for themselves either a late arrival or an early dismissal. And I try to tell them, don't do this, because if it is your intention to go into college, it does not serve you well. Yes, you get to high five your buddies as you walk out at 1 p.m. and the teachers look at you in a rather jealous sort of way that you get to leave at 1 p.m., undeservedly so. But nevertheless, there is something to the idea of keeping the foot on the pedal. And unfortunately, that falls on deaf ears. It's like when Washington in his farewell address said, stay away from political parties. And that admonition lasted for about 5 seconds until after he left town, and then political parties were created. I could sit there and tell the kids, don't take a period off. And I'll have kids that will nod. But that even as they nod, they're already thinking about whether they want to come in late or leave early.
Well, we've already deconstructed their motivation. They've been accepted to colleges by now. So everything that happens this semester is really an exercise in something, but it's have no meaning, to them in their world. And because of the class ranking, I mean, unless you're two or three students who are still fighting it out for valedictorian, that may have already been decided too. I don't know.
It's like the primaries. Everyone knows by the time you get to the national convention who's the candidate.
Okay.
It's just, you like that? That's a little topical political tie-in.
Okay. So we agree on the first one, because I said that too, kind of.
Yes.
But and don't drink and drive.
Don't do drugs.
Right.
Keep clean underwear in your glove compartment. So, all right. Second thing is, I tell them that when you go to college, go as far away from here as possible. I said, your friends are going to want you to stick around. Your parents are going to want you to stick around. They're going to be here. But this is the only time, perhaps in their lives, where they have such an unfettered, unadulterated capacity, ability, and means by which to go anywhere. I mean, if you're borrowing money to go to college, you can just as easily borrow money to go to a college in Alaska as opposed to go to Texas or some other place close by. This is your one chance. You've got no responsibility. You've got no obligations. This is your chance.
So you're paying for this? I mean, if
No,
parents were listening to you right now, they would really
they're
not be
turning it
happy.
off.
Well, yeah, because every mile away, it costs them more money.
I understand the money aspect of things, but I'm talking about the lifelong development of the person. That there is something to be gained from taking yourself out of the familiar and putting yourself someplace strange, different, altogether unfamiliar to you. I think that there's something that can make a person stronger, that can make a person more mature, quicker, by simply removing yourself from the comfortable environs in which you have grown. And that includes, friends, family, the like. You can make new friends. Assuming you're the kind of person that can make friends, you can make new friends. And it doesn't mean just because you went to Alaska that all your old friends are gone. And who cares anyway? We just got finished talking about the fact that the vast majority of people's friends in high school, you don't stay in touch with anyway. So what's the difference? Let's just go ahead and sever the ties, cut the umbilical cord. Let's go ahead and go forward into the future.
This is terrible advice. I mean, first of all, we've already mentioned that high school seniors have already picked their college, and so they're supposed to unenroll because, I mean, we're already past that.
I'm talking to juniors now. Keep in mind, I'm talking to juniors.
You're talking about
okay,
and tuition happens to be quite a bit more expensive out of state than in state. So you want to pay out of state tuition for the experience of driving a few miles, outside of your hometown.
You're making it sound capricious. I'm talking about I'm talking about a lifelong alteration of who you are as a person, what you can confront and overcome as an individual. I am talking about the kind of transformations that typically require like combat or some other kind of. Well, no. Well, yeah, I went into the military. I went into combat. Yes, eventually. But what I'm saying is, there's a benefit to this that lies beyond simply just going someplace new.
Well, there might be, except for realistically, you pick a college for, not for how far it is away from you. That would be a strange criterion because you have
Clearly, if you're interested in like architecture, then you simply go to a place far away that also, by the way, specializes in architecture. It makes no sense to assume that the only good places that teach architecture is within a 50-mile radius of where you live.
So you talk to a counselor in high school. They're called college counselors, and they
Wes Upton back. We get Wes Upton back on this thing.
Yeah, but they'll tell you to pick something that's that's comfortable, that you're probably going to get accepted. Something a little bit of a reach than a big reach, but they're talking academically. They don't say now take one that's 3,000 miles away, where you need to make sure you have one of those on your list as well.
We go for the moon not because it's easy, but because it is hard, and that allows us to develop more as an individual. This is the first time on this podcast that one of us, you, have actually advocated doing something to avoid difficulty. You, a believer in the hard school. I can't believe this.
I don't know what you're talking about. I left my home for well, I didn't actually. I stayed home.
You went somewhere, then you came back, right?
Well, it's a long story, but I was in college for well over 500 credit hours, so I spent a lot of time in various universities. I could see it as a 1-year thing, just for fun, and then it's almost like your year in Europe. You take a year in Washington State, and then you go back and start school. Is that kind of what you're saying? Or are you saying you need to take yourself away for 4 years, maybe the 5-year plan? Reintroduce yourself to your parents in 5 years?
I think there is a benefit to it. Now, granted, I'm coming from a perspective of someone who did that. I went into the Marine Corps, and I very seldom went home And, it wasn't that I had anything against my folks, but there was also about the idea of finding out who I was as an individual. I think there is something to be gained from being forced to be on your own, to being forced to be as much as it can be possible to be forced to do something beyond your comfort levels. So
we were more pragmatic. I mean, and I grew up in Oregon, in a town it's a college town. And so that is one of the reasons that my father, as a teacher, took the position, knowing that we probably wouldn't be able to afford sending people off like Ross Miller to various parts of the country. So it was planned that we would be able to attend college in town there.
All right. Well, okay, so that's the second bit of info.
What was the first one? I already forgot the first one.
The first one is don't take periods off.
Don't take periods off, and then get way away as far as possible.
Get as far away as possible.
Okay.
You should remember this because we made a video about this once. Remember?
It was really an inappropriate video. Most of our videos have been. So the third one.
The third one is yes.
Okay.
The third one is, and I tell my juniors this: when you graduate from high school, never come back to this school.
Don't come back.
Don't come back.
Ever.
It doesn't mean you can't come back to the town in which you went to school.
Just don't come to the hallway and
no. How many times have you seen graduated seniors, on the first day of school, the following year come back as if they're conquering heroes?
Yeah.
Hey, look who's back. And I told one kid, I can't miss you until you go.
But you want to never see them again.
No, I don't want to see them again in that building. So you're doing what my kids do. Does that mean you never want to see us again? No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the idea that by going back to the building from which you came, from which you matriculated into college, there is a backwards looking concept and idea and philosophy that is not helpful to you on any level, on an emotional level, on a metaphysical level, on a maturity level, on a personal level. Nothing grows as a result of you going back to a building that you once vacated.
Of the three, I will side with you on the third one. I think it's unseemly, unbecoming to go back to your high school. And you and I made a video about that once because it was one of these things where they did these sweet little videos from teachers on graduation evening, and we bantered like we do now. I think we were probably funnier back then. It's possible. And we said the same
I certainly thing. Was.
Yeah, just don't come back here. That's right. I'm with you on that.
And it's a strange thing because I think some of the kids feel like they can't wait to leave so that they can come back. I think they find something nurturing in coming back to the old, the comfortable, the predictable. Now that they've been cast out into a world where everything is unpredictable, I think they find a lot of emotional comfort in coming back. And I say, for the same reason that I say you need to move away, I think that you need to force yourself into an independence from the familiar and learn to embrace your new reality. Because once you leave, as they say, you can never go home again because you're not the same person. And therefore, you're not going to interact with that place in the same way. And if you keep doing it, as some of our students have, and we've talked about it, you and I, it gets sadder every time they come back because they want to become what they were again. And they can't. They're not that person anymore. And so for me, it's about looking forward. If you keep looking back, you're going to miss an opportunity. You're going to miss a chance to become something different.
We could advise the same for adults, when they leave a job for whatever reason, they get promoted. I mean, we've left positions and, I think that, we're not afraid to go talk to people, but I've never been back to the place. I don't believe, certainly not intentionally unless my work calls. But it is odd because you're kind of looking at the past and who you were back then. It's a little bit, strange in a way to walk through those halls. I wouldn't, have you ever been back to your high school?
once I was taking my wife there. She wanted to see where I went to high school. And so it was a weird confluence of events that led me to be able to actually go into the building. I was kind of reluctant to do it, but my ideas had not coalesced quite yet at that point. And so, but even then I knew it was something kind of weird about coming back to that building. I've only been back to high school once, and it was about 15 years after the fact. And it was basically just to kind of walk around. It wasn't to announce myself or, hey, look who's back, not that sort of thing. Guess who just got back today? Those wide-eyed boys who'd been away.
It's time for that.
But no, I mean, but it was mainly to show my wife around, kind of let her see, where
it all started.
Where it all started. Exactly. But anyway, did you? You haven't.
Well, I'm the high school where I went, I actually taught there. So I didn't have much choice. I was a substitute teacher there, and I also taught string orchestra there. And I was a director of the theater, so I was quite involved.
What do you think about the idea of a former student coming back as a teacher to the same school? Because I will tell you, the school I teach at today, is unusual for me in my experience.
Yeah.
Because in all the other schools I've taught in, I don't know of a single teacher that was there at the time I was there who went to school there. But the school I'm in now, there must be between 15 or 20 folks that are now teachers of that school who are also former graduates of the school.
That's where you teach now?
Where I teach now. It is. I remember the first time it dawned on me. I was shocked.
Yeah, I've never really heard of such a thing. I mean, once in a while, but not intentionally. They must really like it there.
It does speak a lot to the place, but
yeah, there's something to it.
Does the admonition about returning, does that you think that applies to these folks? Is there something about? I mean, you went back to your old school. You said as a substitute.
Well, then I was actually hired there,
right,
to teach part-time.
Right. Would you go back there today to teach?
To go back to teach in Oregon, I'd probably I'm still waiting for the call. The car's revved up. No, I'd have no problem with it. I mean, no one knows me. And how long ago was that? It's a brand new faculty. The building has been redone. It's
tabula rasa.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of me going back to teach anywhere is a little bit crazy at this point. Not that I couldn't,
sure,
but yes. No, I'd have no problem going back there.
Well, that's where we are as far as like advice to graduating seniors. I mean, at least how I have traditionally couched it.
You didn't tell them to follow their bliss or stay true to their highest hope.
No. I also never said, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
That's true.
Everyone knows that's BS.
No, it's totally true.
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
That's just ridiculous. Yeah, and that's the issue. And we've talked about this before. We've talked about this before in relation to teaching, that the way people talk about a profession can sometimes be the tools by which people take advantage of the people who work in that profession. And with regards to teaching, they talk about teaching in these rather quasi-religious terms.
Absolutely. It's a calling.
It's a calling. So it makes, when you bitch about something, you kvetch about something, about this, that, or the next thing, all of a sudden, well, this is a calling. It's about the students. It's not about you. It's about the students. Well, no, it also has to be about me. There has to be something in it, emotionally, whatever the case may be. There has to be something in it for me as a teacher to enjoy what I do, or to walk in that building every single day. But I also don't believe, I'm not going around wearing rose-colored glasses where I think somehow, some way that, this is great, that it should never be a pain in the neck. It should never be a hassle. It should never be a problem. I just don't buy this rather Pollyanna kind of notion of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I don't think you believe it either.
This is the worst graduation speech I've ever heard.
Well, you asked me about it. I don't necessarily bring this up.
Oh,
But I think the idea about what the kids end up doing, if I had one bit of advice, don't make it about the money that you earn. It's got to provide a benefit to you beyond the salary. Now I know the salary is helpful.
So get both.
I know the salaries. Say again.
Do both.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, but what I'm saying is, if it's all about the money, that's the most. Hell, what am I thinking? It's the thing that changes the most over the course of your time working. It cannot possibly be. I don't know. What the hell do I know? I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I went into a profession that I knew I wasn't going to make any money in.
See, and I thought I was going to make money, and I was misinformed.
Can you imagine you sitting in your counselor's office as a senior? I could really change them. If I can just change one kid, it'll be worth it. Yeah. What? They pay me for it too? Oh my gosh. So
well, this is going to be great. People are going to listen to this and they're going to make sure they don't invite either of us. I would try to be snarky and funny, to try to be kind of like a rabbi and really, really depressing to them. And,
not all rabbis are depressing. That's a cultural stereotype, and frankly, I'm offended.
Yeah, you should be, and you're going to tell them don't throw your hat up in the air either. You'll lose them.
You'll lose an eye.
Don't do that. And I'll tell them don't turn over the tassel, because then you're following what everybody else does. Don't be a follower. And,
be a leader.
Telling them
and parents, stop clapping every time your kid manages to walk across the stage without tripping.
Well, yeah,
and high-fiving the principal.
But do stop the clapping early, because that next family is waiting for their moment, and you could still have the little horns and cowbells going on, and they can't hear their kids. So be respectful.
We need a large, imposing figure at the front doors to confiscate all vuvuzelas.
Is that what you're going to do? You would like that. You would like to have that job. Hand it over.
It's our first son. He's the first one to ever graduate. Listen.
Leave the cowbell at the door.
What's your baby's name again? Come here. Give me this thing. Jeez almighty.
Well, there's like 2 months until then. So
2 months to sit there and dread these conversations.
Yeah, the whole concept of it.
I told you when I left, right? When I stopped going to graduation ceremonies.
As a teacher or as a kid?
As a teacher.
Oh, as a teacher. I thought you had to go. Like it's like a requirement of your job. No, really?
No.
So you don't even go. It's really sad. I mean, you're not. It's not
my grad. I'm not graduating.
But your students, I mean, you're an important part of their lives, and suddenly they'll never see you again. And you have this one moment, and you don't give them that moment. It's rather selfish, Miller. No. This
is part of cutting ties. This is part of allowing the bird to fly the nest.
So they tell you, "We'll see you at graduation, Mr. Miller," and you'll say,
"Nope, I'm not going."
What a jerk. They want to introduce you to their dad, their mom, their aunt.
I taught them as juniors. They had 2 years to introduce me to their pops and to their mom.
Oh.
They hadn't done it then. Clearly it's not a priority.
They want to do a little selfie with you. Come on.
This is certainly not doing that. Oh. I can't stand it when I do it for my wife. I'm certainly not going to pose for selfies with random students.
They're not random. You've been spending years with them. This is really, there's so much upsetting about your stance on all of this. And
you didn't go to graduation ceremonies either.
I don't like being in any group situation, and that's with loud noises and waiting. I don't like the waiting. Yeah, the chanting I avoid, but the waiting, they call a name and you wait, and you know it's alphabetical, so the end is long ways in sight. So time is suspended. Even though it may take an hour, it seems like it takes 4 hours to get from the A's to the Z's.
Because you have a constant reminder of how far from the end you actually are.
Yeah.
If you know your alphabet.
Yeah.
That's the thing that kills you.
Well, the whole thing does. I don't like the speeches. I hate to say it. I don't like the kids' speeches. I'm not big on the whole ceremony.
Okay, whose commencement speech was the best you ever heard?
I've never heard a good commencement speech. No, no. It's so much pressure to try to say something that'll transform it. Honestly, I wouldn't
Something profound.
If somebody asked me to, I would find an excuse. I would fake an injury rather than make a commencement speech for somebody. It's just too awkward and too. I mean, a teacher makes these types of speeches all day.
Right.
And honestly, but to kind of sum it up, and you're talking to a whole group of students, and you maybe know 20 of them or 30 of them.
Right.
So I think it's presumptuous for some adult to go in there and give advice. I don't hold with it.
I'm certainly with you on that. I think the speeches are overrated. I think the pomp and circumstance is overrated.
I like that part. I mean, I think that's
you like pomp and circumstance.
Oh, I still get a chill. Come on, you're not that cold-hearted. you don't get a goosebump when you hear Sir Edward Elgar. Come on now. No, that I'm fine with. You need some type of a closure. So I think it's probably more meaningful for the kids.
Exactly.
And it's really about the kids, isn't it?
Exactly. That's why I don't need to be there.
You don't want to be there. You don't want them to come see you in the summer or in the fall.
I told you they can come see me. Just don't come to my office. Don't come to my work. Don't bug me when I'm sitting there trying to teach.
You need to close out this show now. You're going to alienate more people here, Miller.
I will be considered the lovable curmudgeon of the old school.
Not as lovable as we used to be.
Well, that's always the way it is, isn't it? So, yes. Well, on that rather depressing note, yes, we shall say au revoir, adieu, auf Wiedersehen, Herr Dr. Bourgeois.
Auf Wiedersehen, Herr Miller.